It is nice to have you all here. My name is Erin. I am a new face to the Bandwango webinars here. I am the Senior Marketing Manager here at Bandwango. So I am going to start taking these over for Emily. Emily, of course, is still around, but she is traveling a lot. So I am going to be leading these webinars from here on out. We're really excited to talk about Christmas initiatives and holiday initiatives as a whole with your Bandwango passes, but luckily we have an expert in this area. So I have Lydia here, and Lydia is going to go ahead and introduce herself and where she is from and everything that they're about.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me here today. I hope you not only learn something, maybe take an idea away, but also learn a little bit more about my destination and hopefully visit. So I am Lydia Wilder, the Director of Operations and Service at the Frankenmuth, Michigan Convention and Visitors Bureau. If anybody is not familiar with Frankenmuth, we are located just 90 miles north of Detroit. So just a hop, skip, and a jump away from all of the Detroit traffic, very close to Canada, very easily accessible for drivable traffic. And we are known for Christmas and chicken. So we are home to Bronner's Christmas Wonderland, the world's largest Christmas store, which is where I would say our Christmas traditions start, but they definitely don't stop there. So just to kind of give you a little history before I go into the presentation, in 2020, we started what we called the Frankenmuth Christmas Experience, which was a multi-year Christmas expansion project to really help elevate the Christmas experience in Frankenmuth. Everybody these days is definitely looking for that Hallmark experience, the pictures, this perfect snowfall, all of that. So we have done everything we can to help elevate that experience here. And last year we started the Frankenmuth Stop and Snap Challenge, which is a pass that we did with Bandwango. So I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about the success that we had with that pass and hopefully share some information.
Awesome. Perfect. And before we share the presentation, I just want to let you all know, please put in any questions that you have for Lydia or I. We will be doing questions at the end, so happy to answer anything that comes along here. So I am going to pass it back to Lydia.
Awesome. So as you can see here, the Frankenmuth Stop and Snap Challenge. So we named it this because we created stop and snap locations in 2020, which were just Instagrammable locations scattered all around town. And last year we wanted to elevate it to the next step and create a challenge where people could visit so many stop and snap locations and then at the end get a prize. And Bandwango was the absolute perfect platform to do that. So to just kind of give you a little bit of an idea of what we did. So the participants had to visit at least 15 locations. They had to snap a photo at that Instagrammable location and check in. And as you can see here in this middle photo, there's a sign to the right of the people. We had those signs located at every stop and snap location with the QR code where they could download the pass. And then after they downloaded it, once they went to a location that was a part of the pass, it would let them know that they could check in, and that would count towards one of their 15 pictures, essentially. And then after 15 completed check-ins, they were notified that they could visit the Frankenmuth Visitor Center to collect their one-of-a-kind ornament. So we passed out these wooden snowflake ornaments with our logo and brand on them, and then the back side of them had a slot where they could insert a picture, so then that way they could kind of remember how they got the ornament and why we did it. So we had a lot of success with this, and I think there were a couple reasons as to why that happened. So the pass itself was free. There was no cost to do it. There was no cost to get the ornament. We, as the CBB, funded the entire thing, just, again, to try to move people around town and then just create another Christmas experience for them to do. It was targeted to visitors and locals, and this was something unique that we kind of haven't done in the past because it was definitely a visitor thing, but it was also placed at local businesses. So it was open to not just tourism businesses to participate. So locals could do it when they were at the dentist office or at the hardware store or at the grocery store. And that in total, we had 31 total locations last year sign up, which was an increase from the year before. I think we had 20 locations in 2020, 31 last year, and this year I expect it to grow even more now that we've done the challenge 1 year. The picture here on the right is what the pass looked like on our website. So it was linked directly to our website where they could download the pass. And then they just did it from there. It was very nice because it was on the website, but it also like acts as a separate app. So super duper convenient for everybody to use and figure out. Our goals for the pass, number one was just to create a new free holiday experience for visitors. It was also intended to help elevate the Stop and Snap locations that we started in 2020. We also figured we could use this as a way to help track how many visitors were visiting the Stop and Snap locations and then gather their information for future passes. Because we knew when we signed with Bandwango that our main intent was for our gnome hunt that we do, but the Stop and Snap challenge was just our first like trial pass, I guess you could say. So we knew once we had all of the people from last year sign up for the first pass, we could easily promote the gnome hunt to them. It was also a way for us to collect data for the Frankenmuth Christmas Experience Destination Development Project, because it's kind of hard to track how much business we're creating by adding all these new experiences. And then also in return, by them taking pictures at each location, it allowed us to expand our holiday photo assets through CrowdRiff if they were to tag them with the instructions that we put on the sign. So our results, we had no clue what to expect, I'll be honest. We just were like, we're just gonna do it. It seems fun. I would love to do it if I was going somewhere. So we went for it. So we launched the pass on November 26th last year. And when we designed the pass, we capped it at 500 participants because I ordered 500 ornaments. And we're like, there's no way we're gonna get 500 people to do it. We'll be fine. Well, fast forward to December 17th, we actually hit the 500 participant mark over the weekend, of course. And people weren't able to complete the pass because it said that we were out of ornaments. So we did learn something through that process, but it was a great problem to have. The visitors just continued to take pictures. They would just bring in them pictures. They got their ornament. Everything was fine. But in the end, we ended up with 1,592 app downloads. 1,039 were confirmed redemptions from that 1,500, and we're estimating we probably had an additional 200 redemptions that were not confirmed because we capped it at 500, so we couldn't track those couple days where they weren't able to redeem them. And the pass ran from November 26th through January 10th, so about a month and a half. And again, we were completely blown away that we had 1,500 downloads in a month and a half for something that we literally put together in about 3 weeks. So blown away. And you can see here, these are some of the pictures that people took all around town at the different Stop and Snap locations. So just a recap of the pass, we were super pleased with the outcome. A few things we did learn though is we wouldn't have put a low cap on the participants. So we know that for this year, but again, we had no idea what to expect. So it was a good problem to have. It was also very convenient to make changes and additions to the pass. I did get notified about a week into it that there was a business that had signed up for it that wasn't included in the pass when we sent the information over. Super easy to just get a hold of Bandwango. I submitted a ticket, and within like 2 days, it might have even been less than that, that business was added to the pass. It was also convenient, I guess, because we had very minimal communication with the businesses themselves that were participating. So I guess the nice thing is we put the sign outside their location once they signed up, and after that it was all hands off, because I'm sure many of you can relate. Sometimes communicating with local businesses and partners can be a little challenging. So just having the outdoor signage and the instructions on the website made it super easy. And then, as I mentioned before, this pass acted as a test pass before we launched our gnome hunt that actually launched, I think, last month. So overall, I'm very pleased. Very few things that we would have changed, and really looking forward to doing it again this year. And that's all I have. And there I am with my niece on the most popular location for the Stop and Snap challenge.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, Lydia. And just a few things that I want to highlight from the Bandwango side as well. As we mentioned, there were around probably 1,200 redemptions. So that was those discount redemptions. They saw upwards of 12,000 check-ins at those locations. So huge amounts of people checking in at those places that they can take those photos. So that is super impressive. We were thrilled to see this success with this pass. And now I do believe that more of these clients are so interested in creating these holiday initiatives because we've seen so much success from Frankenmuth. So really thrilled from that. Also want to jump in and answer the question that came in from Sean. Can there be multiple check-in locations at the same property? So the answer to that is yes, you can do that. It just depends on how you want the check-ins to occur. So if you want a check-in to occur through a PIN, you can do that through multiple locations. If you chose to do that through location services, those locations do need to be about 0.2 miles away. So that one's a little bit more difficult, but if you wanted the check-in to have a PIN, we can definitely have that in more than one location. So moving forward, I do have some questions for Lydia that she will be getting to, but again, please feel free to put some questions in the Q&A that you all may have in regards to getting your holiday initiatives launched and as successful as this one. So first and foremost, what do you think was so engaging about this passport and what made people want to get involved?
So I think the fact that it was a challenge, first of all, they had to do something and then they could get something in the end. Just based on our experience here in Frankenmuth, the more things people can get, the more experiences, hands-on things they can do, the more engaged people are. So the fact that they could, get an ornament, and it was in the app, what the prize was, they got to see that. So I think knowing that there was a prize at the end was probably that. And everybody just loves to brag on social media about the cool places they were at to take pictures. So that also helped.
Absolutely, especially during the holidays, and great user-generated content for you all to use for this year. So everyone that's listening, this is a great way to get those people posting, so you can use that content as well. So we did just have a question come in. Were the redemptions for offers that your merchants provided, or were the redemptions for the ornaments? So.
The redemptions were just for the ornaments. We did not do any offers through for our businesses. We actually run a completely separate holiday promotion at Christmas time. So likely we would probably never combine a pass with that deal idea, I guess. But I do think something like that could be beneficial. We just already have a standalone program that acts as that.
Perfect. All right. And what's it like to think about projects from a Chamber of Commerce and a CVB perspective, and how did that factor into building this passport?
So we are a chamber and a CVB, which is slightly different than I know a lot of destinations around the country. And as I mentioned, it was nice because it opened up the possibility for locals and local businesses that locals would go to more frequently to participate. So that way the residents could still do something fun without feeling like they have to come fight the holiday traffic. I mean, we're a town of 5,000, but we get 3 million visitors a year, many of which come during the holiday season. So it's very busy. So being able to engage our chamber businesses and our CVB businesses was really a good benefit, I think, to the whole program.
Perfect. And what was the most valuable data to you from this pass? What did you find to be?
So honestly, I think the pictures, because we all struggle to get current pictures. So that was super nice. But also to see how many people we had download the pass so we could know how engaging, the signs were, our holiday promotional material that we put out, our website, because they had to see one of those things to know about the pass. So knowing that they saw it in one of those places was really nice. And then also on the back end of Bandwango, it has a breakdown of how many pictures or check-ins were at each location. So I was able to track what places throughout town was getting the most traffic. So that was really cool too, because then when businesses come to me and they're like, well, I don't know if we really want to do the Stop and Snap challenge again, I can be like, well, you had 300 people take a picture there last year. You just weren't there to see all of them take the picture.
And did you also get feedback from businesses that were like, holy moly, this pass has really affected business in a positive manner as well? Or was it just those people that were like, is this helping?
I'm trying to think if anybody actually like said something like that, but I do know most of my businesses have it inside their store. So they have to go inside the store to do it. And typically what happens, because our gnome hunt is the same way, when the people come to redeem their prize at the visitor center, they come in with handfuls of bags and they're like, wow, that free scavenger hunt really cost me a lot of money because I went into 5 new stores and I bought 7 new things. So I do know it did have that effect.
Yeah, awesome. And did you use CrowdRiff for those photos, or was that through you all?
Yep. So we use CrowdRiff, and then we just use the hashtag Frankenmuth to generate photos into CrowdRiff. So on that sign where the QR code was for them to download the pass, it said, please share your photos on social media and tag them hashtag Frankenmuth for a chance to be featured.
Perfect. Cool. What was the biggest challenge in creating a seasonal passport, would you say?
The tight timeline. So we actually signed on with Bandwango, I think like the beginning of November last year, and we knew before doing that what we needed to submit for the pass, and we also knew that we wanted the pass to launch the week of Thanksgiving. So before we had ever had our first onboarding call, we had all of the information that they needed for the pass. So I think that tight timeline, because it was very quick. I mean, we signed on super late, so it was kind of our own fault. But also, I mean, Bandwango was great because they were like, well, you know, we need this, this, and this. And we're like, well, we have that already. We'll send it over to you after the meeting. So yeah. Definitely the timeline, but it was really easy. The process was great. And this year, we just have to change the locations and it'll be good to go.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, yes, for everyone that is listening in and is creating a holiday initiative, we recommend getting on top of these early because not all of our clients have all of that information ready to go. So definitely getting in contact with your client success specialists and making sure that we can get those holiday initiatives running and going quickly. So awesome. What was the most helpful tool you have access to as a Bandwango client? I know we mentioned reporting, but did you find that was the most helpful that you used?
Probably. I think the most helpful, truthfully, is knowing how many people did it, because with this being such a new initiative for our destination, a lot of people have asked, like, how is this helping? Like, how the holidays have always been busy, so how is this actually making a difference? And being able to say, well, we added this new pass last year and we had 1,500 people download an app that we never had before. Like, I think that helps make a case for why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually jumping back to the previous question, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. I apologize. But if you had to build the pass all over again, which you are doing this season, what would you do differently, or what would you tell yourself other than the timeline?
the timeline definitely started a lot sooner. What would I tell myself differently? Probably don't be surprised when it is successful. I mean, honestly, we had no idea what to expect. So just seeing how successful it was, I think, was just a really cool outcome.
Awesome. And what would you say was the most successful tactic you used to promote those passports? So I know you had some collateral out and about, those posters that had the hashtag and how to sign up for the pass. Do you think that was the most successful, or did you do any digital?
So we had a combination of things. So we had the sign by each location, which I highly recommend, because if people are just walking around and they keep seeing these signs, they're likely going to stop and be like, what is this, you know? But we also put out a Christmas guide for a month and a half there between November and December that has all of our Christmas activities. So we did a huge feature in that about this pass, as well as we have a driving map tour, that light tour that also featured that, and then also social media and our website.
Perfect. Awesome. And I did want you to highlight a little bit that it's Michigan's little Bavaria. So if you could go into detail about how prominent the holidays are in your destination as well, and how you think destinations that the holidays may not be as prominent, how they could use this pass to really make something come about.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, being home to the world's largest Christmas store, Christmas has always been a part of Frankenmuth in our DNA, but there always seemed to be something that was, I guess, lacking a little bit. So we knew we had to do more hands-on experiences, attractions, music, all of that, all of the things you see in a Hallmark movie, we knew we needed to add. So we started with a large 40-foot musical Christmas tree in 2020. Last year we added an ice rink. Also we added the Stop and Snap Pass, which was just another attraction for people to do. And I mean, not to sound cheesy, but I want people to go home and be like, wow, that was magical. I had such a magical time. Look at all these pictures that I just took at all of these cute little Instagram locations. I mean, I've had people use that ornament bench that was featured on their Christmas cards. So like just creating things like that and elevating that Christmas experience so people can come and just enjoy the holidays and just ignore all the hectic shopping and stress that comes along with those times of the year.
And with those Instagrammable locations, did businesses build those on their own, or did you all help with the creation of those and the ideas behind them? How did that work?
That is a great question. So we, as a CVB, I think we handled maybe 4 or 5 of them, I think is how many I have throughout the town and just like public locations. Then it's up to the business to create their own Instagram spot. So we have built a toolkit in 2020 of like some tips and tricks, do's and don'ts for decor. So that way all of the decor throughout town can be cohesive. Unfortunately, we're not quite like Disney World where we can, just decorate everything in one night. So we do depend on all of our local businesses independently. So we created a toolkit with just kind of some ideas, warm white lights. This is the feel that we're going for. And in that toolkit, we put some different Stop and Snap Instagram location ideas, I guess you could say. And if anybody ever has questions about what they can do or what they should do, they can always reach out to us or just go down the street to Bronner's where they will be able to find anything Christmas they could ever possibly want.
Perfect. And the locations that participated, I know that you mentioned everyone has a bit of a tough time getting partners to really be involved in these initiatives and these campaigns. So did you email them? Did you talk to them in person? Were they just on board from the beginning? How did that outreach work for you?
Multiple ways. So I started with emailing all of the people that had done a Stop and Snap location in the previous year because I knew those would be the easiest people to re-engage. So I reached out to all of them individually. We also sent out a letter explaining our plans for the holiday season and ways that they could participate. And with that letter goes I sent out a Google form with it where they could have sign up for the Stop and Snap location. And then once the business signs up, I contact them directly to figure out their plans, their details, and kind of explain or answer any questions that they may have.
Perfect. Awesome. So definitely some hands-on work there on your part, making sure these participating locations were actively involved in this campaign. So
yeah, which is why I think being able to make the pass so hands-off on the businesses, like once they sign up, once they commit to decorating and knowing that all they have to do is decorate, I think that helps make the pass more successful too, because the more you add to their plate during the holiday season, the less likely they are to probably participate. So knowing that they could have everything up before Thanksgiving and then hands off, we have it from there, I think really made the biggest difference.
Awesome. And I know you mentioned the prizes at the beginning, but I didn't know that there was a little spot for the photo in the back. So what a creative way. I just wanted to highlight for everyone viewing, that's an awesome way to get people involved, especially because this challenge had to do with taking a photo at those locations. So thinking about those prizes in a creative way, what's going to make people really get involved and actually take photos at these locations and produce that UGC? Just props to you all on creating a really awesome prize there. So Do you all have any new passes in the works? I know we have the gnome hunt that's active, but any other ideas coming before the Stop and Snap challenge?
Yeah, so I have lots of ideas for passes actually. The first one being though I want to do like a mural art pass, and I want to set it up very similarly to the Stop and Snap again, where it's not so much on the businesses, it's just something people can do as they're walking around, because that's something we struggle with. We're definitely we have a lot of shopping and not everybody wants to shop. So if you give them something to do while they're shopping, then they're likely to buy something because it's more fun, they're more engaged. So I would like to do a mural art pass. Now, whether or not that happens before this one, we'll see. I have big goals.
No, absolutely. It's awesome. And in regards to those new passes, do you feel like it's important to have a short duration for passes, or would you be interested in having a longer duration and not a seasonal pass for those?
So I think a combination of both is probably nice. So this one obviously runs seasonally. Our gnome hunt actually runs all year. That is a scavenger hunt that we have had for years here in Frankenmuth, and actually more adults do it than children, even though it was created for the children. So that one runs all the time. We have now just transitioned it to Bandwango, so it can be done virtually to help conserve on paper costs, printing costs, and just easier, so you're not trying to carry a paper around with you. So I think having a combination of both. The mural art one would likely be all year, but I don't see why you couldn't do something in the summer with summer activities or fall time activities or Easter.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I will tell everyone on this call that a lot of times those evergreen passes, you do need to make sure that we're re-engaging those pass holders, whether it's through our messaging platform, whether it's through maybe you want to do a month-long campaign, you check into these locations during this month, you can win these prizes. That can all be done through the back-end reporting. You can see who's all checking in, where, and when. So just want to make sure if we do have evergreen passes that are out and about with our clients, we always want to make sure that we are re-engaging with those pass holders so they don't forget about those passes while it's going. But want to ask the crowd if they have any final questions for Lydia and this awesome campaign that they created. But other than that, Lydia, I want to thank you so much for taking the time and being with us today. And all of our current clients, or if you are a prospect, if you're interested in creating a holiday initiative, make sure to get in contact with us. We are happy to answer any questions that come up. But Lydia, did you have any final things you wanted to say?
I don't think so, other than I honestly can't say enough good things about Bandwango. I just think there's a lot of flexibility and fun, and I think the way tourism is heading, everybody wants an experience, and I think this is a great platform to create experiences for people to do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And yes, we will have a link to this recording. It may not be up for about a day. It takes a little bit for it to load, but we will make sure to get this out to all of our participants and then as well to all of our clients. So any questions, again, feel free to reach out to either your client success specialist or anybody from Bandwango, and we're happy to answer. But we hope you all have a great day and happy Christmas in July. So we'll talk to you all soon.